Hi, I'm Ozzie Ostwalt. Welcome to Religion and Life. This week we take a look at life itself through the making of clean drinking water available to everyone on the globe. One of our local organizations, Wine to Water, aims to do just that. Taking its cue from a miracle in the Bible, Wine to Water seeks to build on that biblical story through service in an unusual way. Our guest is Shane Hillman. Welcome, Shane.
Thanks, Ozzie.
All right, Shane, so you have a role here at Wine to Water. I love the T-shirt. You want to take a look at that?
Thanks.
It's got the Wine to Water logo. And I want you to talk about the organization, but I thought we might watch this short 20-second or so video that you guys produced to kind of introduce your organization, and then you can take it from there and kind of describe what you do.
That'd be great.
So let's watch this very short video.
Around the world, millions of people don't have access to clean water. At Wine to Water, we're working to help end the water crisis. Please join us. By donating or giving a bottle of wine, you're providing life-saving water to someone in need. Join our community and help us to turn wine into water. Click here or go to winetowater.org.
All right, so very nice. So tell us about your organization.
So like you said, we're Wine to Water. We do international water aid projects throughout the world. We focus on bringing clean, safe drinking water to those in need, and do that in a diverse variety of ways. But it's kind of our main focus, though.
Yeah, and of course, the name Wine to Water is a reversal of the biblical story of Jesus' miracle of turning water to wine.
That's right.
And very creative use of that story. Is there anything miraculous in producing clean drinking water across the globe?
Yeah, you know, every day it's definitely a miracle. You know, it's really incredible to see, you know, communities come together, because, you know, we're a community-based organization. You see these communities coming together, people in the United States that have never met these people in, say, Uganda, and come together and supporting and investing into these, bringing safe drinking water.
Now, how old is your organization?
We've been around since 2006. So
fairly young organization.
Yeah, yep, in the terms of nonprofits.
Yeah, and still growing.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, now you're, I was asking you about your role, and you were telling me you wear a lot of hats, as do most of the staff members at your organization.
Yeah, so we're a small staff. We primarily focus on, you know, relations with different partners. I'm a part of the international projects, so I help manage relationships with one of our partners, Stop Hunger Now, which is actually located just south of here in Raleigh. Mm-hmm. And I also am starting to establish new partnerships working with the Navajo out in New Mexico and Arizona. But I also, you know, emails in the office, managing our online store, communications. We all do a little bit of everything.
And of course, you've been my contact person throughout trying to plan for this.
Yeah.
Well. Now, you are a nonprofit, but you also consider yourself a religious organization, a faith organization. Yep. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct. Yeah, we, our founder, Doc Henley, you know, he started off, you know, a preacher's son, but, you know, as working at a bartender, you know, riding his Harley across the country, tattoos and everything. So maybe not the conventional, you know, preacher's son, but, you know, he one day woke up in the middle of the night and felt this calling to bring water to people and followed that.
Well, Doc's story itself is pretty interesting and pretty remarkable. You gave some of the broad outlines here. What is it that really did give him this idea, and was it just a kind of inspirational moment that he then put into action?
Well, yeah, he learned kind of about this, you know, global water crisis, you know, and at the time it was over 1 million people without, you know, safe drinking water in the world, and, you know, he thought to himself, you know, I'm just a bartender, I'm no one extraordinary, what can I do? And then, you know, he felt that calling, and he realized he could do something about it. And so he hosted a party. You know, so they started, you know, had this event, this first Wine to Water event, selling wine to raise money, and he raised over $10,000
in the first event.
First event, so it was great success. You know.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
He sounds like a kind of an action-oriented person.
Yeah.
And I know one of the, he has some local notoriety, but it's not just local. A few years ago, he was recognized with a very prestigious award as one of CNN's heroes. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about Doc's selection to that honor.
Yeah, you know, they heard about his story, and once they found out, like, you know, this is just a simple guy that was able to come together and start we had a great impact on this world, and he did it all. You know, he says he's just a guy, but he brought the community together, and that's kind of where the strength of our organization really lies in, is our community. We focus on building local communities here, and then global communities with our partners across the world.
Right. So it's even though it is a faith organization, obviously its founders not what I would consider a conventional representative of a religious organization, right? And you guys who work there, you're coming from different places in life, but you kind of you were describing to me earlier how you're sort of drawn to a common mission.
Yeah, each one of us has kind of come to this organization on our own path, but we all, feel like this is work that we've been called to do, and it's through our faith that we do this service work. But yeah, each one of us comes from our own path, but so we're definitely not conventional. Some people see this, this wine, and they sometimes, question that, but we try to connect the church crowd with the bar crowd, and see what we can get out of it.
Does that work?
It works.
It works. Yeah.
It works very well. Yeah, there's people that are working together that maybe never would have had a chance to communicate, and it has a strong impact.
Wow. So I know one of your focus points is the domestic end of what you're doing. That's kind of a new initiative. Just where are you in the world, though, internationally today?
Wow.
How many countries? Where in the world?
Well, we've done work in over 25 countries now.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So we've been a little bit of everywhere. We are really active right now in Nepal, especially after the earthquake. We work in Dominican Republic, Honduras, East Africa, over in Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia. We've done work in Haiti. So we've been just about everywhere.
So I'm assuming Doc's off somewhere right now. Is that?
Yeah, where is he? He's going to, I think, the Dominican Republic next week, and he's always around.
Probably hard to keep up with.
Yeah, I can never keep track of where he is. Sometimes he's, or he's doing a speaking, in Connecticut. He does a lot of presentations, so he's a busy guy.
Well, it's interesting to talk about these places, but I pulled up some images. I think it helps to put a visual with some of the projects you're talking about. So maybe we could look at some of these images, and you could tell the story behind what we're seeing. I think the first one here is from Nepal. Yes, right here. And this is, I'll let you talk about it, but this is following the earthquake. Is that correct? Yep.
So, when the earthquake happened, as you can see, it really kind of devastated the country. A lot of the infrastructure, destroyed. So we started our, responses was our first time in Nepal, and we came together. We used our Sawyer filters. They're a type of water filtration technique that we partner with Sawyer, and we started bringing them into the community, teaching the people how to use them. Mm-hmm. They're a really good filter for that kind of disaster relief.
And they're portable, easy to get in on site and whatnot.
Yeah, they're very simple. A lot of times we focus on appropriate technologies, and that's if we came in there with a big solar water distiller technology, it's gonna break. It won't work. It won't survive. So we try to find technologies that the people will trust, the people can use. So it varies from country to country, but we've had great success in Nepal, and now we have partners out there that are continuing to train people to use these filters. And
all right. So in Nepal, you're using filters. In another site, you might be digging wells. I think we have an image here of some workers digging a well. If we could look at that, maybe you can describe what we see here. Yeah,
so this is some of the hard hands-on work that goes into drilling a well. It's not always a simple machine that comes in. Even
Right.
manning that rig takes a lot of effort. So sometimes it's drilling a new well, but a lot of the times it's repairing the wells that are already out there. We find that there's wells all throughout, especially in Honduras. We were just repairing the pumps. So sometimes it's a simple fix,
Right.
which is really great. And even our donors love to hear that sometimes the answers are more simple than we think.
Right. And you're actually, when you go into a site like this, you actually train folks on site how to dig these wells, how to repair the pumps, and how to maintain them, because you're not going to have a permanent presence there, right? So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, we take Cambodia, for instance, we were helping them with buying a new compressor for their wells so it can, dig through harder rock. And now that they own this rig, those are people that are employed now. They have a job, they can feed their families, they have water access. So we really try to build up those communities in those different areas in the world. And now they're even doing, private, well drilling, so they're able to generate revenue through this as well. So.
Right. Now you mentioned using various technologies. I think we have a third image here that we can take a look at, and yet another strategy to help provide for clean drinking water. Here we go. We have clay pots. Tell me about these pots.
Yeah, so these are interesting. They look initially like a flower pot, but they're actually ceramic water filters, and those are all being ready to be fired in that kiln. So this is from, we have a ceramic water filter factory in the Dominican Republic, and these are using a combination of clay, sawdust, and colloidal silver that gets mixed together and then fired. And then you can use it in a 5-gallon water bucket to filter water. It'll take out everything, bacteria, viruses. It's very interesting.
So these are materials they have on site, and then you go in and you train how to make the pots and how to fire them, and then use them.
Yeah, it's
very low tech but very effective. Right?
Yeah, and this is a whole factory that we've helped start up, and now we help even with the administration, and they're providing filters to a variety of people. And these are a very great, simple technology that people can understand. Once again, a lot of people are employed through this factory. This is a way of life for them now, and providing water for people.
And I would think that a technology such as this is economical and sustainable, right?
Yeah.
And is that one of the criteria you use when you go in? You're looking for sustainable methods to provide for.
Yeah, it's difficult too, because each country has a different need, but we're really focusing on making sure that these people can feel empowered about their technology. Someone's going to be responsible to take care of the well, and that community that we're trying to build is really an important element. Sometimes you can put in technology and you go back a year later and you find it's just not being used. So we really try to invest our resources appropriately.
So you're very, very much community based. You're not only providing the community something, but you're also building community in a sense. You're rallying the community around a project, it sounds like to me.
Yeah, that's a very integral part of our organization.
Right.
And even likewise in, say, the Dominican Republic, but just as well here in the United States, we have chapters, a variety of chapters in different parts of this country, and we're building those communities there. Even a lot of our fundraisers will be wine tasting events, and people will come together and get together and share stories, whether there's people that have done volunteer trips with us, and we really just try to bring people together for the best good we can.
Okay. All right, so I have a fourth image here, and here's another example of the technology you use. And maybe this is the filters you were talking about earlier, or a different type of filter, but if we could look at this bucket and filter system here, and maybe tell me about this cleaning system here.
So this is a great filter, one that I'm very familiar with. It's the Sawyer water filter. So Sawyer is one of our partners. I first found out about these filters when I was backpacking years ago, and this is a great filter. It uses the same technology as kidney dialysis. So it's got a 0.1 micron filter in it, and you can take water out of the Boone Creek or any polluted water source and run it through that filter and just dump dirty water in the bucket and you have safe water on the other end.
Removes lead and all kinds of contaminants?
Yep, metal, chemicals. It's mostly focusing on viruses and bacteria.
Right.
So anything that's like a super dissolved chemical, that's not the main application of the filter. But it can, what's great about that filter is it can filter 300 gallons in a day. It does 1 liter per minute. So this could be a filter used in a school setting. 1/3 of schools in the world don't have running safe water. So this is a very appropriate technology for those types of scenarios.
So that one filter would serve a school?
Yeah, you could do, like I said.
Or several families? Or,
Yep. And that's and it's a very simple to use, simple to maintain. That filter can last up to 10 years. And
really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yep, it's got its own, you back flush it to clean it. It's a very simple, easy to understand technology.
So just out of curiosity, and you may not know the answer to this, but how much would that bucket and filter setup cost?
It's cheap. Right now with our partner with Stop Hunger Now, they're based out of, like I said, Raleigh.
Right.
We do $75. We'll get you the filter to get into freight and cost of getting it into the field and training as well. So that, about half of that cost is the filter and the bucket. But the other cost is we do wash training, which is water and sanitation and hygiene. And that's a really important element. We don't just try to put out filters there, but teach them how to use it appropriately and basic sanitation techniques,
So for $75, you could go to a developing country and provide clean water for a school full of children for 10 years.
Yeah, that filter is powerful.
That's an amazing investment. Really, when you think about it, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. All right, so we have another image here, and this is an interesting one. This one doesn't. This image is the other end of your dichotomy here, the wine image. So let's take a look at this. It's a beautiful label. It's got the logo on there and a map of the world. So you have your own private label, and you sell these wines. Is it? And the proceeds then go back into the organization. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct. So this is we have a partner winery in California, and we have our own private label through them. And this wine is kind of, that's where our roots are. We started off selling wine to raise money, and we still do. The wine accounts for maybe about 10% of our funds, and you buy it at the Harris Teeter down the road.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Just in the local grocery store?
Yep, the Lowe's, Harris Teeter, any of the ones in North Carolina, Texas, you can buy it online. And it's a great way, people that want to raise money and do fundraisers for us, they'll purchase the wine and do wine tasting. And it's a great way to bring people together and help tell our story.
Right. It's a good visual reminder of what's going on here.
Yeah.
And what your organization provides.
Yep.
I love the fact that you have this kind of visual metaphor going on, but also the whole strategy of using the appropriate technologies on the ground in the right setting. It just seems to make so much sense, and has been successful, right?
Yeah, to date we've reached over 400,000 people with safe drinking water, and it's a lot of work went into that. A lot of people from all over the country, all over the world have come together for that. It wasn't one person. It wasn't just Doc. It wasn't just the guys making the filters. We have a lot of support.
Well, and sometimes I think here in our community and in our country we take for granted that we can turn the tap on and have safe drinking water at our disposal. But illnesses that are borne by bacteria and viruses in water is really a tremendous problem worldwide. So this is meeting a very crucial need.
Definitely. I mean, today 663 million people don't have access to safe water, safe drinking water, and another 2.4 billion don't have access to improved sanitation. So it's a big issue.
What's your goal? Are you going to try to reach all those people, or
we're going to reach some of them?
Those are huge numbers.
Yeah.
What does the if you were to chart out the future here, where would you like to be in the world? How many of these people would you like to reach?
So by 2018, we have a goal of 1 million people.
Wow.
So that's
You're almost halfway there, right?
Yep.
You said 400,000.
Yeah. Yep. So we're getting there, but that's within the whole lifetime of our organization, we've gotten 400,000. So we're really hoping for a exponential increase, and there's a lot of work going into that, and it's looking great. It's going to require a lot more work, and once again, there's water organizations all over the world. It's great to see people coming together in a variety of ways, and we're working together alongside of those organizations.
Well, you said it's a lot of work. You really do face some daunting challenges. I mean, it's not just the dirty work of digging a well. You were telling me earlier about a kind of fascinating story, some of the issues you would run into with governments and getting supplies across borders. Tell me a little.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Haiti's a great example of this. Doc Enz's book. We have this ceramic filters factory set up, and now they're getting filters into Haiti, but you have crossing the border, customs. They were smuggling filters in through a boat, because that was the best way to get these filters in. So it's very interesting to see these different challenges you deal with. Right now the Dominican Republic and Haiti have an interesting relationship. So anything going over those borders is subject to that, and we have to work with that. And find ways around that, communications. They take Ethiopia, the Ethiopian government, you're coming in there to aid, but there's challenges you have to deal with going through that. You have to talk to the right people. and
you deal with some of that in your position, is that right? I think you said you were doing some research on the Dominican Republic recently.
Yeah, kind of trying to understand that border relation, and we have people on all ends trying to figure out, all right, how can we get these filters to the people in need most effectively? And then again, it's a ceramic filter on a very bumpy road in a truck, so you have the problem of the filters breaking even.
Right, sure.
Doc tells stories of them having this big supply truck, and there's not a real road, the truck flips over. So you have these all kinds of challenges to have rebels firing guns at you.
Well, you've been in some very dangerous, well, not you personally, but your organization has been in some dangerous places in the world.
I mean, it's a tough, there's a lot of challenges, but, Doc kind of, set that precedent that we're willing to work through those. In his book, there's incredible stories of dealing with, the Johnnoweed rebels and these government relations, and working in conflict zones is very difficult, but that's where some of the work is needed the most.
So you've mentioned the book, and this is Doc's autobiography, I guess, of sorts, but it also explains the work of your organization, and you can, I guess, purchase that online or at your website.
You can.
And the proceeds go back into the organizations.
Yeah. It's a great story. Even for someone outside of the water world, it's inspiring, because it's someone that, felt his faith, tugging on him very powerfully in a direction, and, he was lost in a lot of ways, dealing with adversity, but just, really staying true to that and following that faith through, and it's great to see what comes out of it.
Great story. Well, let me ask you this. I know a lot of what the impetus behind this comes out of Doc's own faith journey, and you mentioned earlier that each person on staff comes at this from a faith perspective in some sense. But sitting here talking with you, I never get the sense really that there's a kind of overt religious push to what you do. So if you go into a community and you provide safe drinking water and you build the community, is there ever kind of a hard sell with religion, or how does that work?
Yeah. So we focusing our service, or our mission work is through service. That's the way we feel that we can most effectively spread that message. We provide drinking water,
Yeah.
And you know, we do that because that's what we all feel our mission is here, and it's great, you know, and it's, you know, you have people connect in such a way, and you know, a lot of the times it's, you know, it is that spiritual connection that we gain out of it, which is great. But we work in, you know, just last week we were building a rainwater harvesting tank at a mosque. You know, and
at a
it's,
mosque.
Yeah,
So you do that kind of interfaith work.
Oh,
That's
definitely.
wonderful.
That's
great.
That's the thing. You know, we are, you know, we have those Christian roots, but you know, we're completely open. We work with people that need water, and we spread that love and that message through that service.
Great. So what some of our listeners out there and viewers might think, well, this is a great organization. I would like to support it. You probably even have need for volunteers. So the person out there who would want to volunteer, say, for your organization or get involved in some way, what sorts of opportunities are there, and how would they go about seeking those opportunities?
Yeah, there's a diverse ways to be an aid to this. We do have our volunteer program. You know, not a lot of organizations that are doing international work offer that because there's a lot of challenges to it. But we give people the opportunity here in the States to travel to Uganda, travel to Nepal, the Dominican Republic, and you know, experience these struggles. You know, you see these communities, but to be able to change those, you know, come in and get that hands-on experience of, you know, repairing a well or doing, you know, wash hygiene training.
So they could go to wineToWater.org and.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. So
Well,
it's great.
This has been really fun and enlightening. I commend you on your work.
Oh, thank you. And
Great work.
thanks for having.
And I appreciate you coming in to talk about it today.
Yeah, and thank you for having me on here.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Well, that's Religion and Life for this week. If you have questions, comments, or suggestions, please contact us at watchapptv.com. Until next time, I'm Ozzie Ostwalt.
Nice.
That's great. Thanks a lot.
Great. Thank you.